What's good, people? What's good, people? It's your boy, Uncle Fred, back in the house, back in the saddle one more again. Man, the Cowboys are a never ending tale, never ending story of, just, I don't know, just the need to be. Muted my mic. uh, Tend to do the simplest things and make the most noise doing the simplest things. But we're gonna talk about that. Hey, unless you crawled up from under a rock, we know what today or yesterday about what, like 8, 9 o'clock in the evening, it was announced Cowboys have selected them a head coach, and as my thumbnail of my title says, Schotty, it is. It's Schotty. He is the head coach that we have selected to be our coach for the next 4 years. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, and I know Cowboy fans say about that, and I'm not going to tell you not to feel a way. You feel how you feel and do what you got to do. Get on the ship, stay on the ship, jump ship, whatever the case might be. You're well within your rights to do any of those things, and I'm not going to tell you which way to go. I'm going to tell you how I'm going to look at it. I'm going to give you my perspective on it, and we're going to talk about the hire. Do I like it? Is it the best situation under the circumstances that we created? We meaning the Cowboys. We're going to talk about his history, his resume. We'll talk a little bit about that. We're going to listen to him, and we're gonna look at some. We're gonna look at some of the alternatives. Really, it was only two choices. Just to be perfectly honest with you, it's only two choices. We're gonna talk about that, and then talk about going forward, what it means. How do you feel that do you feel? How do we feel? Excuse me, that the team is gonna fare. What's it gonna look like? What do we need to have to make it successful? And what does Brian Schottenheimer's team look like? We're going to talk about that here in just a moment. Hang with your boy.
Two times on the beat, bitch.
Again, we're back, and we're going to say welcome, welcome, welcome to Uncle Fred's Rants. Yeah, so we just had throw us in there. Just give it a little flavor. Give it just a little bit of flavor. But anyhow, so we want to just like, comment, and subscribe to the Uncle Fred Sports Experience. Guarantee you will not be disappointed. My thing done went to the wrong crawl. I don't know why I had that one thing up and it went to the other thing, but that's fine. Modern technology, man. But look here, man. So, um, So like I said before, we know this whole process has been weird, but we do weird with the Cowboys. We're not like any other sports franchise. We just run things how we run it. Um, yeah, hit that Cash App too. If you know your boy don't get monetized right now. I'm on that in that era where you're a level where you don't get monetized. So this is just a hobby. So hit your boy Cash App for $1, two, 5, 10, 20, whatever. I'm just kidding. Whatever you feel like. But yeah, go ahead and hit that. But anyhow, it's right there on the screen. Cash App Freddy 22 on both ends. So yeah, the Cowboys do things in an unconventional manner, from team building to um, public relations to salary cap, um, compliance, um, team organizational structure, all of those things. We do things. We just different, man. And it's that's the one thing we gotta. And so what I want to try to have people who watch my channel, and I'm trying to grow the channel. So please share this with other folks, because I'm trying to get up there with them other boys. Yeah, Skywalker Steels, your Rome Cowboy Fan Talk, the Mark Holmeses, the Vosh Lombardis, the Foots the King, the landlord from Alabama, the um, West Coast Cowboy, all of those guys. I'm trying to get like those guys. So, but yeah, I got perspective here. But yeah, what I'm trying to do on my channel, what I try to do is get people to think outside of your normal way of thinking. See, what I will try to get people to stop thinking that the Cowboys, or stop expecting the Cowboys, the players and other, to have the same level of success as other players from other teams with different circumstances around them. You got to almost grade them on a curve. All right. I'm just saying, you kind of almost gonna have to grade them on a curve, because it's things that you got to deal with. It's situations of circumstances and adversarial problems that you got to deal with in Dallas that you ain't got to deal with it nowhere else. And sometimes it makes it almost like you're playing with one hand tied behind your back, as opposed to other teams playing with two full hands, two full legs, and all these other things. And you're like, well, why can't they do what they do? Well, they got other things pulling against them. You almost got the front office acting as a 13th, 14th player that on the other team. So you see here, even with the head coach hiring, first of all, they didn't fire, but Mike McCarthy did not accept the terms. So last Monday he walked away. Now I don't know what the terms were. That's never been disclosed. We don't know if it was. I know he was making about $4 to $4.5 million a year, which on the surface that sounded like, man, he's making $4 million a year, until you found out that only, I think, Raheem Morris and Shane Steichen made less money than him. Now, this is a Super Bowl winning coach, right? Has always, won where he's won. And I should have brought that stat up, man. Dang it. When you're doing the video, you think of stats that you wish you had brought up or whatever. Maybe I can do it while I might try to do a Law Nation. That's another guy. Uh, and yeah, Law Nation is another guy. He the big dog of the thing. We're trying to build a plane while you're flying it. Sometimes I might just try to do that while I'm here. I don't know. We'll see. But salaries. He's at 4.5, and probably they was trying to enter him in at like 4.5, which might sound like that's a lot of money when you look at, like, Mike Tomlin's making 16, and I think Sean Payton is making 18. Now there was a stat that I think I want to give credit to where I got the information from. I don't just like to spout stuff off like it's my own, research or whatever. It was a stat that was shared by Skywalker Steele on his morning show. He's on his own now. He's not with A to Z Sports anymore. So please check him out. So I always try to give reference to other Cowboy content because that's where you get the best content for Cowboy stuff. And it ain't the 4-letter and the 3-letter networks because they just get rehashed and they only tell you stuff that's the popular things, the things they want to say and narratives that they want to convey and what they want you to feel about certain things without digging. You got to dig a little deeper, especially with the Cowboys because they just not they appear on the surface, right? So he showed the comparison. Mike McCarthy has a better overall record than Sean McVay and Mike Tomlin, a better division record than Sean McVay and Mike Tomlin. And head to head has done better than them, won more division titles than any of them, and a better playoff record than both of them. Yet they're making $16 and $18 million respectively, and Mike McCarthy is making 4. Make that make sense. Now, I'm not trying to advocate that Mike McCarthy did this splendiferous job last year because the opposite could very well be true. But you also got to understand the lay of the land. The dude changed agents for a reason. He changed agents. Nobody changes agents to stay the same. They just don't. They don't change agents they change agents because they feel like this agents can get them more money, put them in a better situation, get them more appearances in certain things, or, get them more ad spots, get them more something. That's the whole reason why you um, hire a new agent. He hired Don Yee. So they went to the negotiation thing, and I guess Jerry slid that thing across the table at Mike, and it probably said 4.5 million with incentives to up to $5 million, and probably Mike the turned the table on old Jerry. Probably said El Paso, and slid it back over there, and basically walked away from it. Said, "No, you're not gonna do that to me again. I know what I'm worth." Now, Jerry may have the last laugh because as of today, but one head coaching job left. You see, because the Chicago Bears have hired Ben Johnson. New York Giants have hired Aaron Glenn, which is the two Detroit Lions coordinators. The Jacksonville Jaguars have hired Liam Cohen, who was scheduled to go back to Tampa on like a $4 or $5 million offensive coordinator. We're going to be the highest paid offensive coordinator. But then the Jaguars fired, can't think of the guy's name, the GM for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I can't think his name, but they fired him. He's always been a problem to a lot of the people who work there for the Jaguars, and he used to be the general manager of the 49ers too, and ran off uh, Jim Harbaugh, from there, and so Trent Baalke, that's his name, Trent Baalke. So Liam Cohen circled the block and went back. So that job is gone. The Raiders, we was talked about, hey man, Pete Carroll might want the Cowboys, right? And the very next day, as of yesterday, he's taking the job of the Raiders. So all the jobs are drying up. Ain't nobody left but New Orleans. And if I had my not recommendation, but my prediction, I think that job is going to go to Joe Brady, who used to be on the offensive staff there in New Orleans with Drew Brees before he took the job at LSU. So I don't know. So maybe Mike McCarthy might be what they say, ass out, But hey, man, go out on your principles, man. I'd rather not take a job, not get a job nowhere to be, kicked around anymore. So, hey, man. So from that point on, we was fooling around. We had to do the Rooney Rule interviews. Leslie Frazier, which I couldn't remember last video I did Monday, and Robert Saleh, which Robert Saleh is a solid hire. We'll talk about that in a minute. And then, of course, they talked to Kellen Moore, right? And who we talking about today, Brian Schottenheimer, and made a mere phone call to primetime Deion Sanders. Now, we all know the Cowboys love to get headlines started, get moving, get the ratings going, get the buzz going. And that's just who they are. They like buzz, they like, pizzazz, they love all that stuff. So, but they only really seriously interviewed 4 people. And that's my whole problem with the whole thing. Okay. So as of yesterday, they have hired Brian Schottenheimer as the new Cowboys head coach, who served in the capacity as offensive coordinator, non-play calling offensive coordinator for the Cowboys in 23, and offensive consultant in 22, brought there after he was let go when Urban Meyer was let go in the 2021 season. He was on Urban Meyer's staff in Jacksonville and was without a job for about a month. We'll talk about that here in a minute. So we got Brian Schottenheimer, and they made it, because the reason this is troubling, because this might have been one of the most, I don't know, robust, prolific coaching, slate that's available to be hired in recent times. You're talking about Ben Johnson, Aaron Glenn, Liam Cohen, Pete Carroll. It's a bunch of dudes out in there. That's some of them. Doug from Jacksonville. Dougie Fresh. I'm just called Dougie Fresh. Y'all know who I'm talking about. So it's a lot of former Super Bowl winning head coaches. Doug Peterson, couldn't think of his name. Doug Peterson. So there's a lot of good coaches out. John Gruden, if you want to go that route. There was just a bunch of coaches out there that if you wanted to go that route, and you didn't elect to push any of those. And I've always said, you the Cowboys, man, you the Yankees. You're the most notable, the highest grossing team in team sports, the most recognizable. When you see this star right there, you know what that means. When you see that star or that star right there, you know what that means, right? When you see that, you know what that means. That has significance, right? It's recognizable everywhere you go. I got that on the front of my truck. Everybody say, "Oh, that's how you know it's a cowboy." That's because how you know it's a cowboy. I seen your truck. I seen your front tag on your truck. And so, with that being said, I'm going after the best thing that's available. If it's me, right? And I got the most recognizable. I got the biggest brand. You get the most, notoriety from being associated with us. Every free agent that's going leaving their team always get associated with the Cowboys. So you get you get your name out there, you get your fame up there. So, so why would you not go after the best guy? And that way you put yourself in line to have the best results, but it don't always work that way. So you interviewed 4 people. You interviewed Leslie Frazier, Rooney Rule, Robert Saleh, Rooney Rule, but I think he's a good hire. Kellen Moore, and you had to wait for that one. Did that one via Zoom because he's preparing for the NFC Championship game. I hope they lose. And of course, Schottenheimer, which they knew to have to do them to go down the hall and interview him, right? So to me, it was a very lazy approach. Yeah, we're just gonna do the very minimum. We're just gonna interview these 5 dudes. If you're gonna do a Rooney Rule hire interview, at least get somebody that's probably you could have maybe look at Thomas Jones. I mean Thomas. I think that's his name, Thomas is it Robinson? That's the was the interim head coach of the Bears last year. Thomas Brown. I'm sorry. Look at somebody like that, Pep Hamilton. Somebody like that. He's got a good offensive resume. Somebody like that. Leslie Frazier. Lazy. All right. So so the whole process was jacked to me, and they did the very minimum, and of course it's done on dollars because it's like they went the cheapest route because Schottenheimer, we're gonna talk about his what he's done around the league. Not exactly a hot commodity. Not yeah. I mean, he's sort of until you talk to him. Yeah. And then he's a guy that's not gonna ruffle no feathers, not gonna ask for no ungodly amount of money. He just he happy to get the job. You shucks, man. You hired me? Well, shucks. So that fits right up their alley, right? So, all right. So here's the thing. What do you think? Me personally, I'm not mad at the hire. I'm mad at the process. I'm mad at the procedure. I'm mad at the effort that was made. I'm not mad at the dude that you hired. Okay. And I don't know if that makes sense to you or not. I'm not mad at because I mean you're the guy. If we're gonna go into his record here in a minute. I mean he's a football lifer for the most part. That dude knows. We're gonna listen to him here in a minute. Uh, is it the guy that you mad about? Because I know Cowboy fans are livid. So I will never support the Cowboys again. They just mess up everything. Hey man, I ain't even mad at you, man. And I know when they hired Schottenheimer, I know most of the Cowboy haters was probably like, just like that right there. I'm having to transition from that to that because sound doesn't transfer all the way over. Yeah, they're probably like that. And Cowboy fans are probably feeling the same thing with that sad thing. So, but see, a lot of times you got to direct your anger or your disappointment and whatever your emotional state is at the right places. Are you mad at this dude? Are you mad at the Joneses for their processes? Mad at the Jones for how they do things? And that's what I've been trying to, the people that watch my channel, I don't just go with the top of the line or the top, low level fruit, low hanging fruit, surface level narratives. I go to the source of things. And so, yeah, I'm not mad at him for taking a job. Dude, you've never been a head coach. I mean, he's had opportunities to be a head coach in 3 different times. We'll talk about that too. But um, you get a chance to be the head coach of the Cowboys. You can't be mad at him for that. Yeah, don't hate the player. You know, hate the game. Hate the game. Right? So that's all I'm saying. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Hate the game. All right. So I'm not mad at him. I'm mad at the Joneses, both Steven and Jerry. And understand these two guys do different things. Steven and Jerry, father and son. Jerry likes to stir up a bunch of stuff to get us talked about and stuff. And while sometimes that's annoying and sort of like gets in the way to a certain degree, I feel like Steven is more of a threat because he likes to not try hard a lot. He just tries to like do the bare minimum. What costs the least? What can we get the most of without expending the least while expending the least? And that's fine if you're trying to balance a budget, but if you're trying to build a football team, that's difficult when other teams aren't doing the same. If everybody was doing the same thing, then fine. But you got teams that's doing things totally, totally different. So, so are you upset with don't be upset at the guy at Brian at Schotty uh, be upset with the process that they did. The lack of foresight, the lack of innovation, the lack of effort, the lack of whatever. Just And it was sort of like we didn't have a plan. See, that's the thing, and how the other teams did their stuff. And you looked at the New York Jets. New York Jets had two openings. They had the GM, because they fired Joe Douglas and fired Robert Saleh. They had a GM and a head coach to hire. Bears had a head coach to hire, and all these other teams. Jacksonville had a head coach and now a GM to hire. They fired Trent Baalke. The Raiders got a head coach and a GM. They fired Tom Telesco. I think that's what his name was. And now they have hired a guy named you can't make this stuff up. Spatek got hired by Tom Brady. Spatek can't make this stuff up, man. But the thing is, if you looked at the Jets they interviewed about 14, 15 people. Everybody from, I don't know if they've interviewed Mike McCarthy, but I know I know a bunch of dudes they interviewed for the job, and same thing with the Bears, including Mike McCarthy, who they was blocked initially, which I thought was petty, but they were negotiating. Yeah, whatever, man. They were blocked initially, right? Um, so I'm just saying that they were blocked initially. So you know, they but they involved a lot of people. And the Cowboys didn't really talk to but those four people. So why? So the question comes to, okay, so why are they just lazy? Do they just don't want to do anything? Do they I mean, and I think there's a reason behind that. I think and it just says on here, why was it done this way? And I think it was done for comfortability and adaptability. As I said in my opening, the Cowboys just do things differently from everybody else. They just do. They're totally different from any other team in how they do business, the structure, the hierarchy, how they manage money, how they spend, that sort of thing. You go into the other things. The owner has way too much involvement, almost to the level of, is he influencing the play calls? I mean, when you watch the Cowboys, then you go from the Jason Garrett era, the Mike McCarthy era, the Wade Phillips era, and you see that, dang, look like the plays are the same. So different coaches, different schemes, come from different trees, different philosophies, but the plays kind of seem the same. So it would lead me to believe that maybe that there's, I don't know, something going on with the plays, and then you can't play who you want to play. There's influence and that kind of thing. So there's a lot of things that you gotta be uh, uh, ready for, that you don't have to deal with other teams. That's why people can't be blaming Dak or blaming Micah or blaming, because they under circumstances that other teams ain't got to deal with. Coaches under circumstances other teams they ain't got to deal with. So, but comfortability, they want somebody comfortable, which would allow the same culture to stay. What is the culture's like? Entitlement, furtherment of the brand, more about, getting sponsors, more about getting commercial spots, getting your name out there, getting your podcast out there, not being, about your business, not in your playbook, not about, your fundamentals, not getting on the same page with your other players and your coaches, and understanding the game plan of each game, and understanding responsibilities and all those sorts of things. There's a different level that what we do and what other teams are doing in terms. And I've always said the Cowboys are not as prepared as other teams, and I a lot of times put that on the coaches. But it's kind of hard to study when there's a rock concert going on, across the hall. And I'm saying that metaphorically, like other things are going on across the hall, making it where you're trying to study for an exam or cram for an exam. You can't really get it all in because there's too much other stuff going on. All right. So comfortability, somebody that's comfortable with the way that the Cowboys do business, comfortable with them, won't push back on none of the things that they do. Comfortability and adaptability to be able to come in there, see that from that's done there differently than anywhere else, and be able to still function at a reasonable level. That's the adaptability. That's why, in my opinion, why the Cowboys don't go after every available or high-ranking coach, don't go after every high-ranking or high productivity free agent. They choose to build from the draft, which the player comes there. That's the only pro team they know. They can't compare it to other places, right? And maybe free agents that's on their way out of the league. Hey man, it's a last couple of paychecks, man. I can put up with whatever. But dudes, right, in the prime of their career, that's been with other organizations that's done things a certain way, it's gonna be a culture shock coming here. That's why I think they kind of play it off like it's the money. They don't want to spend the money, but I think a lot of times that the players when they come here from other places, it's just a different thing, man. It's just different. Comfortability and adaptability, economics. Like I said, I think the thing, they wanted Kellen too, because Kellen has been here. He's born here, basically. He came right out of college, got drafted here, and was a backup quarterback to Dak in 2016 here, then left and was on the coaching, and then 18, and then became OC in 19, which I think is kind of a meteoric rise, but don't let that mess you up. But I think Kellen Moore was going to ask for more money than they were like. That's why that meeting only went for like a couple hours. And I think I have other suspicions as well. I think what's going to be key is the staff around him. So I think since this guy's a first time head coach, that it's going to be imperative that they put around him solid stuff. Now, it was believed that why would you just keep Zimmer around? But I think Zimmer said, according to Brian Broaddus, him and Vosh do a thing, and him and Jeff Kavanaugh do a thing. And I think I heard it on there. He said, "No, I'm not going to be a DC under this guy." Yeah, he felt like he got passed over. And plus, he just got married, or just got engaged, or whatever the case might be. And he's 68, going on 69. He's got like a 40-year-old wife. Yeah, I think he probably may not want to study and crunch game film right now, if you understand what I'm saying. Uh, but I think the importance of having somebody that's been a head coach is understanding how, being at the helm and can help him do that and not, quelch his enthusiasm. Schotty got some enthusiasm. He's got some incredible enthusiasm. We'll show it here in a minute. And the economics, all that stuff's important. The staff around him. Now, the advantages. I'm going to tell you right now, man. I would have much rather had Ben Johnson, which I knew he wasn't coming, or Aaron Glenn. He used to, play for the Cowboys when Parcells was here, and grew up in Dallas. Probably a Cowboy fan. Grew up as a Cowboy fan. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm sad. I'm upset that they didn't at least call the man, you know, or call Liam Cohen. Liam Cohen did some good things for the Bucks. Not like Mike Fisher said. I don't even think Jared even know who Liam Cohen is, but you're a GM of an NFL team. Okay, I don't even know why I said that. All right, but his advantages. Why would you pick a Brian Schottenheimer? Well, I put on here his engagement and his charisma. He just sounds like a coach. Don't just trust me. Don't just, go by what I'm saying. I'm gonna let you hear it for yourself. I want you to listen to uh I want you to listen to uh Brian Schottenheimer. Uh let's see here. Give me a second here. I'm trying to figure out which one of these. I want to say it's. Let me see if this is the one. I want to say. Let's go with this one. Let's see. Having some issues here with the computer here. It's not functioning in a manner that's conducive with. Here we go. All right, let's see what it says here. And maybe I may have to. Hopefully, this thing. I don't know what I'm sounding like. I don't have nobody on engaging with me, so we'll see. Um, I want to just share with you what he said at last year's training camp. Last year's training camp, um, and so all right, let me see something here. Trying to see something here. Now, bear with me. Bear with your boy just for a second. All right, let's see here. Yeah, it's not pulling the stuff up for some reason. Yeah, it's not pulling the stuff up. It's I see I'm on here, but it's not pulling up the stuff. So I'm gonna let's see, view tab. All right, it's not doing um it's not doing. Let's try this again. Let's try this. Yeah, everything's kind of slow rolling here. Uh, okay, let's try this here. Uh, well, shoot, it's not. I don't know why. I don't know why I'm having issues with it. It won't let me. Um, Tell you what I will do though. Let's do this. I'm just gonna play it and let's see what happens. And let's see here. Yeah, something's going on with the thing here. I don't know what's going on. It's just acting real wonky here. Really want to show y'all what was going on here, but let's do this. Um, all right, let's listen to this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Everything's what you call it. Okay. All right. That's 86 that then. That's 86 that. I will say that when in watching the uh, the footage from the training camp from last year, he was talking about Dak and working with Dak and how all the pieces fitting together. He's just real energetic in his approach and in his speaking about that. And man, he just sounds like a coach to me. And I would just advise you to go watch that and look at his spot on 105.3 The Fan, and when he's talking about stealing plays from other teams, when he's talking about the motion and the other things and the Kyle Shanahan systems and stuff he's watched and seen other coaches do, and how he borrows a lot of that stuff from that. And the benefit of players being in motion, the orbit motion, the jet motion, all this kind of stuff, the stuff that we've been crying for the last year and a half, and the uh, danger of letting the offense become stagnant. Now, if any of y'all watched the game when we played Green Bay last year in the playoff, what did we look like for about a quarter and a half? Up until about probably 2.5 quarters, until about second or third possession of the third quarter. Stagnant. A bunch of stop routes, a bunch of 5, 6 to 8 yard slants where the DB and the safety are right on top of each other. Two receivers in the same place, bringing all their defensive backs in the same place. And he's telling you in that spot the beauty of the motion. It keeps the defense at bay. It's an advantage to do that. Mike just wouldn't do that. Remember, he's not calling the plays for Mike. He can only suggest stuff. Mike's the ultimate decider on what plays get run. And so what I was wanting to show y'all is, show you him, show you Kellen Moore and his preparation for the NFC Championship game. They asked him what's his approach. And when you listen to him and you listen to Schotty, it's no mistaken. I wished I could show this to you, man, because if you listen to what I had on here, and I don't know what's going on with my computer, I might need to restart it or whatever the case might be, but it's not playing any of my tabs that I have locked up or whatever that I want to play for y'all. But we're gonna continue to press on here. He really sounds drone-ish, like don't really have a personality. You could see why his interview only went for like 2-3 hours, and Schotty's went like 5-6 hours one day, and then continued the next day 5-6-7 hours. I don't know if he slept over or not. That I wasn't told that. But when you listen to them, the two of them, if you didn't see them, didn't see their resumes, didn't see what they had done previous, you listen to Coach Candidate A, Coach Candidate B, and they said which one of them, which one is talking and it makes you want to pay attention, gives you the details and says it in a manner that makes you want to pay attention. And it's Schotty. It's Schotty. It's not even close. I would think Kellen Moore would be telling you how a play's supposed to be designed, and half the room would be them fell asleep. You ain't gonna fall asleep on Schotty. I promise you that. So let's get to the end of the video, because that was gonna be the part of the thing I wanted to show y'all. Schotty is a football junkie. I'm not saying that. He said it himself. He was a football junkie. Like I said, he's been in football, in the coaching capacity. I think Mike McCarthy got him on the staff 1997. I think there was said Dick Vermeil's staff at Kansas City, and and stuff like that. He's a self-professed football junkie. Grew up with the game. His daddy, Marty Schottenheimer, coached the Commanders, coached the Chargers, coached the Kansas City Chiefs and the Cleveland Browns at various times in his career. Never won a championship, okay? Never won a championship. I want to say, wasn't it Schottenheimer's Browns or was it Sam Latigliano that lost to, I think that was Sam Latigliano. I'm going back to 86, I think, that they lost on the drive to John Elway. I want to say that may have been Sam Rutigliano, but something's telling me that was Marty Schottenheimer, but I'm not sure. But he grew up with the game. You know, his dad's a coach, so I bet he's sitting there with his dad and understood concepts and stuff before other people is, getting read nursery rhymes. He's getting read football plays. Now, he grew up with that. That's one of his advantages. Now, one of the disadvantages, he's not a top prospect. Sure, you wanted to have gotten Prime. Prime's going to be, he's going to change the culture. He's going to upset the apple cart. He's going to bring on his entourage. You're not going to be able to control him, which I think would have helped the Cowboys, to be perfectly honest. But that was just to get people, they never had no interview, never even thought about interviewing him. They just, but, he doesn't have the pop, doesn't have the pizzazz, doesn't move the needle, don't get you excited, don't get the rush to buy season tickets. He just don't have it. He's Brian Schottenheimer, okay? Not a top prospect with respect to who was available. Doesn't have that pop of pizzazz. He does not. Does he challenge the culture, or does he allow things just to be? I think he challenges from a standpoint of he allows the offense not to be stagnant. Now I know when he was at, as I got his coaching resume up here. I don't even know if I can even show that, man. It's just crazy, man. It's just crazy. Nothing is opening. And nothing's opening up here. So as I go back. Um, but he he doesn't have this, he doesn't challenge the culture, right? At all. But he will challenge it. And I know when he was at the Seahawks, he got let go by Pete Carroll due to philosophical differences after the 2020 season. But I do know through 2020 and 2021, Russell Wilson had his highest. He had 110 passer rating. And I think he threw for 40 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. I think that's his best year as a pro. They were letting Russ cook. But, Pete likes to run the football. Now, see, when he's with the Jets from 07 to 11, 07 to 10, 07 to 11, a couple of those years, they led the league in rushing. I think Thomas Jones, who's brother of our own Julius Jones, who's a running back for the Cowboys in that same time frame. He led the league at 31, I think, led the league in rushing with like 1,400 yards and 14 touchdowns. So one thing about Schotty, he gonna run the football. And that's been one of the criticisms of Big Mike is that he don't like to run the football. He don't instill like a physical presence. I think Schotty is going to instill that physical presence because he talks about it in many respects in those clips that I shared, but it wouldn't allow me to share them. But does he challenge the culture? Does he challenge the meddling? Does he challenge the overstepping by Jerry and Steven? I don't know, because he probably is just so happy and enthralled to get the job that he may not push back a whole lot. Look, man, I'm just going to be honest with you as I close this video. I don't necessarily love the hire, but I think it's a decent hire. I think he's a good football coach. I think he's got a wealth of football knowledge. I think he knows more about football than probably 80% of the guys that are applying for these head coaching jobs. Just listen to him talk. I think it's a safe choice, okay? Because I think in order for you to get one of these other coaches, they would have to be indoctrinated into the way the Cowboys do stuff. And I think this will be his third year. He's figured out, hey, this is the way the Cowboys do stuff. And you ain't got to worry about how to. But what makes me upset is the Cowboys not understanding their opportunity to go beyond what you can see right here and go to the next level. Because and while I like Schotty as the head coach, I not love it, I like it. Follow me on this as we close. How would you have felt had they hired Robert Saleh? Okay. No, he don't know the Cowboys way. Fine, he don't. He could learn it. He was with the Jets. That's a circus too, right? What does he bring? Where was Robert Saleh before he got to the Jets? Anybody know? I know. He was the defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers, a defense that we had problems with. Okay. Who did his defenses practice against every day? Oh, I know, the Shanahan tree, because he's practicing against that Shanahan offense, that offensive line, that jet motion, and all that kind of stuff. Couldn't you envision if we hire him, maybe even bring on a recently fired Bobby Slowick? That one knocked my socks off. They fired Bobby Slowick from the Houston Texans, an offensive quarterback coach and passing game coordinator for Kyle Shanahan up until last year. And bring him on to be Schotty's offensive coordinator. I know he don't run the same system as Schotty. Dude, it's all West Coast. There's variations of it's all West Coast. Stop it. But you would get the offensive guy and a defensive guy from the Shanahan tree. What that would do, look, man, I don't know about you, and I'm starting to think that Stephen Jones, I think this is Stephen because he don't really want to push the envelope. I think Stephen, I don't know if he went to public schools or not. I know Jerry went to public school because there's a shot of him at Central High School in Little Rock. So I know he went to public schools. But Stephen's a test as a test trust fund baby. I'm sure he ain't went no public schools. He probably never had his lunch money took every day or got bullied or whatever, or maybe he likes that because man, you ain't gonna keep beating me up or taking my lunch money every day or I punch you back. How many times you gonna lose to the 49ers before you say, man, can we get somebody that can stop that offense or somebody that knows something about stopping that offense? You know, can we figure out a guy that can do that and this guy's available? If nothing more than to keep him from one of these other teams from having him, you know? Same thing with Bobby Slowick. Could you get him to keep some of these other teams, one of your rivals, from getting him? That's what you got to look at. Because the free agent that you don't get or the coach that you don't get because it didn't make money sense. Don't you know the other team that you got to play might get him? Now you got to play against them. You know, it's unheard of to go get Devontae Adams. Oh man, that's $28 million. Oh, okay. But what if the Commanders get him? Now you got to play him twice a year. Sometimes you got to spend money to keep them from the ops. Okay. But I'm okay with Matt Eberflus. That's the guy they hired. That's the last part. And some of the notes as you see at the bottom of the thing, the notes. We have hired Matt Eberflus as the defensive coordinator, former head coach of the Bears, wasn't a very successful one, but their defenses were good. And before that, he was the defensive coordinator of the Indianapolis Colts going there in 2018. Many may not know, but the first year we went there in 2018, we went to there and they beat us 20-22 to nothing. They shut us out under Matt Eberflus. He's a good defensive coordinator. Came there under Rob Ryan, and then when it got turned over to Marinelli, he stayed on and moved up to moved up the ranks and did well there. I think DeMarcus Ware and Anthony Spencer had like two times I think Marcus Ware had 19 and a half sacks one of those years, and I think he and Spencer both had double-digit sacks in the linebacker positions under the influence of Matt Eberflus. So Matt Eberflus is I don't know what you would think of him as a head coach, but as a defensive coach, his defensive structure is good. So that's a good hire. Okay, so you needed a solid hire to go with him, somebody that's done the rigors of being a head coach, been in this system, understand what it means to be in the star and understand all that stuff, and to be able to help to assist him in doing that. Um, a former passing game coordinator on defense and assistant head coach Al Harris weren't able to retain him. He goes on to uh, replace Eberflus, if you will, as passing game coordinator, if you will, for the Bears. So he goes to the Bears where Eberflus leaves from the Bears. Uh, our receivers coach Robert Prince goes to the Dolphins. Bones Fossil, which I failed to mention on our Monday video, has left us and gone to the Tennessee Titans. So a lot of our um, assistant coaches have left. You know, so uh, due to the way we did business, had all those coaches on 1-year deals. Nobody got no extension. And while you was playing around, not get figured out who you wanted to hire, these guys got job offers to go other places. Now, the Bones Fossil one is going to be interesting because I don't know if y'all know this or not, but Devontae Turpin and Brandon Aubrey are both like free agents. Just saying. He's a special teams coach. Just saying. Sometimes we so reactionary, we don't prevent things from happening by having what you would call foresight. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know what's going to happen there, man. But we will see what's going to happen in the near future here. So, but anyway, man, that's all I got, man. Brian Schottenheimer, head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. And like I said, I'm not going to tell y'all what to do. I'm not going to tell y'all to jump ship. I'm not going to tell y'all to be happy. I'm not going to tell y'all to be mad. I'm just telling y'all to just dig into it a little bit. He's not exactly a bad candidate. Is he Ben Johnson? No. Is he Aaron Glenn? No. Is he even Pete Carroll? No. Any of these guys. Is he Doug? Is he Dougie Fresh? I can't even think of that dude's last name. No, in terms of what he's accomplished. Okay. But these dudes got a wealth of knowledge, been in a lot of different systems, played in coached on under a lot of different head coaches, compiled a lot of corporate knowledge from a lot of different places. Can go a lot of different directions with the offense and different things. And I think that's going to be very interesting. And like I said, he's a very gregarious, very engaging dude. The dude makes you interested by listening to him. So I just encourage y'all to just go pop up some clips of Brian Schottenheimer, his talks and whatnot. And let's just hold judgment. Let's kind of see what they do, how they finish filling out this stat. Then I'm telling you, the Cowboys, the fan base is teetering right now with this hire. It wasn't the hire that they wanted. Boy, y'all better knock this thing out the park in free agency. That's all I'm saying. If y'all pull up lame on free agency and not and go to Turks and Caicos on first week in March when free agency opens, I feel like y'all might have a full-scale mutiny. It'd be a lot of Cowboy fans jumping ship. So I just hope the Cowboys do the right thing. Hope that they free agent shop for purpose, on purpose, meaning understanding what kind of coach you have. He's going to run the ball, so he wants offensive linemen. He wants running backs. He's going to marry the running game to the passing game. He talked about, I wish I could have kept that clip, showed y'all that clip. He says it's important that you show the defenses various formations. You may run the same play, but out of various formations, keeping them guessing. The running play or passing game may be out of the same formation. That's the thing. Marrying the passing and the running game together. He said it's not even having the quarterback in shotgun and not running. He's not a running threat. I don't understand what benefit you get out of that. Ain't that what we do? Shotgun runs and right up the A gap. So some of the things I would say, just stay tuned. Watch what we do in free agency. Watch what we do at the draft. I think we should draft for a purpose. I think Ashton Genty becomes more in play here than it might have otherwise been had we went another way with a head coach. So I just think these are the things we need to look at before we totally jump ship. Although I'm not telling you what to do, I'm just saying you investigate. Okay, be a thinker, not a reactor. Don't be the Cowboys. Think. Don't just react. You know. But that's all I got, from the desk of Uncle Fred, man. Please like, comment, subscribe. Hit your boy on his Cash App, $ Freddie Fred, 822. And send your boy a little bit, man. Like I said, we're trying to get this thing going. Like I said, I'd like to be able to put forth a lot more content as I sort of build this thing and put more equipment and stuff in and whatnot. We're trying to do, that sort of thing, and trying to give you guys good content in the at the same time. But like I said, like, comment, subscribe, become a part of the Uncle Fred Sports Experience. Guarantee you will not be disappointed. Catch you guys on the next video.